Rob, but one based around the Oliver inquiry, and why is it being handled as an independent panel, or was it being handled by an independent panel? And it seems, we spoke to Dale Brown during the week, that what they're doing, no information is shared to perhaps you at Racing Victoria or to Dale Brown. Why is this an independent inquiry?
It's not really independent. I think you've got to get this in context. What it is it is a panel that was established by the Integrity Subcommittee of Racing Victoria to look specifically at the Oliver matter. So it was identified as an inquiry panel. It has Rob Montgomery, Deputy Chairman of Stewards, James Hitchcock, a steward, and Tony Burns, a barrister, that we had appointed to that panel to make sure that everything was conducted according to the rules of racing and the laws of the land. It's not really independent. Every inquiry that goes on is actually separate from Racing Victoria, from the executive. I have no input. I don't know what's going on with any of these inquiries, and nor should I. I mean, it's an independent department. The Integrity Department has to run these processes separately from. Otherwise, we've already been accused of sort of sweeping things under the carpet for the Spring Carnival. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't. We're not able to do that. The Integrity Department runs independently and will make its own decisions.
Look, the Damien Oliver thing and Damien betting, and it's no good for racing, and it's no good. But I think one of the biggest problems coming out of it is that the average person in the street that doesn't know anything about racing, the people watching Racing Review are racing people, but the people outside of it, they think like Damien's murdered someone, or it's a bad crime, but it's not in that category.
No, look, and there have been cases of jockeys betting before, and I think with the advent of corporate bookmakers and internet and mobile phones and everything else, probably it's easier for jockeys to bet than it was previously when they had to go to the TAB and someone would recognise them.
Rob, I've grown up in racing. I disagree with that.
But on a serious
jockeys have been betting since Adam and Eve were playing in the garden and fighting over apples.
One of the main questions that's been raised at you personally on this, Rob, is when did you know? When did you know anything about Damien Oliver having a $10,000 bet on Miss Octopus?
Well, of course I'd heard the rumours and I'd read the papers. So, you know, I'm there with everybody else and I'm taking a keen interest in it. But I have to tell you that I was not advised until the Monday, which prior to last Monday, wasn't it? Last Monday, I was advised that all the information was there, a confession had been made and charges were going to be laid. I had not been advised until that moment. I was, of course, aware of the speculation and the rumour, naturally. But why would I be? I wasn't in that inquiry. I wasn't a part of that inquiry.
The Fairfax papers ran last Tuesday a story saying that you did know about it and that you'd spoken to people before Derby Day about this. How do you respond to that?
I respond that that's incorrect. Certainly there were discussions about the rumours, and the rumours were around. But there was no factual basis. There was insufficient evidence. There was not an admission.
But if this investigation has been going for 3 weeks, isn't the first question that the investigators asked Damien Oliver is, did you have a bet?
Right. Well, look, I think what we need to do now is just stop this conversation. On Tuesday, there will be a hearing in front of the stewards panel. It will all be clear there. I'm not going to make any more comment about the Oliver matter. Once that's done, there will be a full release from Racing Victoria of the chronology and the detail. I am not going to get into that here this morning.
On a separate matter, though, the front page headline on Melbourne Cup Day in The Age said, "Why is this man allowed to ride?" Are you happy that the due process allowed Damien Oliver to ride over the carnival, whilst the perception of racing is take a complete hammering?
I am absolutely confident that the panel that was established has made the right decisions. I hope you will be after Tuesday. The fact is there is due process. People are innocent until proven guilty or till they admit guilt. There is a process. We are an agency that has to abide by the rules of natural justice. I am quite certain that inquiry team have done everything that they should do, and I think you will be after Tuesday.
Rob, is there any particular reason why Terry Bailey and Dale Brown, two most senior members of the Integrity Department, are not involved in that panel?
Yes. The panels, we've got a lot of work on at the moment. There's an awful lot of inquiries. There are a lot of issues around integrity, and Dale Brown would never normally be part of an inquiry anyway, and Terry Bailey, as Chairman of Stewards, as you know, is tied up in the Nicollet matter. He's been at VCAT. He couldn't possibly be part of that Oliver inquiry. So we took the next most senior person, the Deputy Chairman of Stewards. There's nothing sinister about it. There's a workload issue at Racing Victoria.
Rob, there's also plenty of other, if you like, allegations, rumours that other jockeys are in the pipeline of having had a bet Do you have any knowledge about that? Is that something that's going to come out in the next couple of days, weeks, months?
Look, all we know is there are rumours, and the things I read in the paper, often the day I read them is the same day, that's when I find out about them, same as everybody else. There are inquiries ongoing, investigations ongoing. I'm not a party to those, and neither should I be. And even if I did know, I wouldn't tell you. So, not going to comment.
What about other images, perception of racing? Last week, 7:30 report ran a story about race horses, which are not owned by Racing Victoria, last time I checked, being shot and left. Again, the image of racing, it's a free hit. There's a free hit out there going on about the image of racing.
There was shocking footage on the 7:30 report. It's just awful. And nobody wants to see that. I mean, any type of animal cruelty or animals being mistreated is completely, we don't accept it. We just don't accept it. I've got to say, we are putting a tremendous amount of effort into equine welfare. Since Brian Stewart has been here as our chief vet, we've run a program and we've employed more people. We've got a whole bunch of programs around retirement for racehorse outplacement. And we're looking at all sorts of schemes. I mean, some form of superannuation scheme or something where the owners actually pay a fee that then goes to their retraining or their rehoming afterwards. It would be a great idea. So we're looking at all those things. We realise it's an image problem, but it's not one that Racing Victoria can fix on its own. A lot of this, they're not racehorses, a lot of these horses, and a lot of other horses. And the fact is, some animals are killed for meat, and horses are used for pet food, I'm afraid, at the end of their useful life. We'd like to make sure those horses that have contributed to racing have a retirement as best they possibly can, and we'd like to contribute to that.
Is that something that Racing Victoria needs to do better in terms of that image perception when pieces like that come out? Does Racing Victoria need to get on the front foot and say, this isn't the case, this is what we're working towards with, Bill Saunders' Cyber Horse program, that retraining program that's been very successful? Do we need to come out and push that line?
Well, you can, Mick, but you do look defensive too when something is so over-dramatised as that was and sensational. You don't want to knee-jerk to these things. What you want to do is you want to get the programs in place, you want to be able to point to your successes, and you want to be able to build it from a basis of fact. I'm always a little nervous about coming out. People say, well, get on the front foot. It usually makes it worse. You sound defensive, you start talking. I just don't think it's the best way. So I think we just have to get the programs in place and change what we actually do with horses that retire. Everyone I know has had a horse that's retired. None of them have gone to the knackery. They've all found homes in paddocks and, the people I talk to. So I don't think it's as big a problem for Racing Victoria, but I accept the perception issue. Very hard to change perceptions when you've got a fanatical group, small group of people just attempting to damage the image.
Where does Racing Victoria sit now from when Rob Hines first walked into the job?
Well, if you'd asked me 2 weeks ago, I'd say we're looking pretty good. Right now, I think we're at a low point. I'm hopeful it's a low point that's really going to improve as we clean out integrity, we sort these things out. I'm hopeful it'll improve. But from the beginning, I'm proud of my record for the last 4 years. We've made some tremendous progress. I hope it's not spoilt by these last few weeks.
You've mentioned some stresses on the integrity department. Is that an area that needs more funding and a broadening of their abilities and